Finally, I get back to work on my Buick project. I went on vacation for about a week and a half and had a really nice time. But before I left, I wanted to make this car look like a usable car and have it back down on all four wheels and everything in case the city came by. Still had some aligning to do before I left, and I've still got a little bit more to do, but everything's lining up really well. Got the rear subframe just kind of bolted under there. I've still got to hook up the emergency brake and things like that, but I got all the disc brakes hooked up except for that. Need to hook up the fuel line. But before I left, I had some hard points that were bothering me because I couldn't get them to line up. This edge here was about 1/4 of an inch off, and of course obviously that needs to be a straight line. Well, I took and drilled this hole here at an angle and drilled into there and pulled it with this screw up to where it needed to be. And when I did that, here is another factory hard point. This black metal has this trim hole that I have distorted a little bit when I put a Phillips head screwdriver to initially line it up. But that was about 1/4 of an inch off. You can see in that second hole where the screw hole used to be, how the black metal is off from the silver metal because I managed to drag the black metal forward. And now that first trim hole is lining up. So I'm glad to see that happen. Now that I've got that hard point lining up, obviously I don't need two pieces of metal here. Once I get it secured there and a little bit better secured here, I can take and trim this piece off and then trim the inside off and weld it together end to end. Another thing was the gap along this trunk was a little bit too close. The trunk lid is loose right now, but I've got that fitting a lot better because I loosened up these screws up here, took them out and re-drilled the holes. That's the whole purpose of securing it with screws first, because you can take a screw out and drill a new hole, move the metal and drill a new hole and put it back together, and hopefully it'll line up a little bit better. But it's getting there. Real close to driving it again. Real anxious to drive it again. I haven't even driven it the first time actually. So I don't even know how this car is going to drive. Be terrible if I did all this work and the transmission slipped. Guess I'd have to just get a new trans. But apparently it was working okay when it was wrecked. And the car doesn't have that many miles on it, so I'm sure it should be still good, but kept getting pulled off of it. I got back into town about 5 days ago, but I've had so many other things I had to do that I had to let this car just sit, and kind of bothered me the whole time. Why weren't my hard points lining up right? Well, today I got them to line up better. Thanks for watching.